Wednesday night stream. I'm actually really enjoying doing this, so I don't know if I'm going to add Wednesday as a kind of a permanent thing or not. Just felt like having a little fun tonight doing some stuff. I had thought about something I wanted to learn, and so I decided, hey, let's just do a stream on it. So, with that in mind, what are we going to do? Well, a while back, a few years ago, I started a library in Python called Secret Finder, and specifically, I wanted a way to configure a provider or multiple providers and tell it what secret I want, and then it just goes and finds it on its own and returns it back. I'll show a little bit of code, like kind of pseudo example in Python, but I want to implement that because it uses all classes and inheritance, and since classes and inheritance aren't really a thing in Rust, we use structs and traits. I wanted to try to figure out the right way to do that so I can, better model applications. So let's try to figure that out. We'll jump over to some code. Also, as a note, I was recording the other day, or no, last night for my homesteading channel. So if my camera dies, it's because of that. So I had it on the charge for a little bit. We'll see what happens. All right. So first thing, oh, and eventually I want to turn this into a crate. I might be the only one that ever uses it. I'm fine with that. All right, so let's see. Let's do cargo new secret finder rs. All right. Awesome. All right, let's see. First, let's just look at some Python. So essentially what I created, the structure of it is, let's do class provider, and then I would do, I think it was a def, I don't remember if I had an init at the moment, retrieve self. And then I would do had a class env provider inherits from provider. Sorry, that error. Return mismatch. Bait method reach. What? Okay, what? I don't. Sure. Sorry, class config provider. I actually never wrote a config provider, but that's what I want to write in this one. From there, I would do a secret class secret manager, and then this would have a def init, and this would be providers. It would be a list of providers. Then I would do, yeah, I think it was, whoops, call, see, def call self secret stir, yeah, for provider, blah blah. Yeah, this is it. No, I would return it. I don't accept as E. That's not really what I would do. I would just do. Actually, I mean, whatever. Getting hung up on Python in this is not a Python thing. All right. So basically, and then from there, I would do, yeah, providers equals that. And then I would do env equals secrets manager dot providers. There we go. And then I would basically do env some like database URL. And then that should actually, I'll bet you this would work. Oh yeah. Set a see from typing import list. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do database URL equals there we go. Conceivably, since oh yeah, so this would be secret name. Secret name and secret name. Oh yeah. There you go. All right, sorry. I mean, I'm like just trying to go through this fast. Conceivably, since I have config provider here first, it's going to iterate through this loop, and then so what I should get back out is kind of the secret name from config. So oh, you know what? It's going to return it because it got it first. That's right. Anyway, all of that to say, going through all of that, you might also consider you might have class vault provider, and then you might have class AWS SSM provider, and class sure. You just have these different providers available, and in order to get a secret out, you would just configure down here like, hey, I have these different providers. You can default from something, be like, hey, my preferences pull from config, then pull from environment, and then pull from AWS SSM. This helps cross environments as well. But then you also might have a situation where you have some of your secrets in your environment variables and you have some of your secrets in AWS SSM. And so locally, you might store it in your environment variables for local development. But in production, you have some of those in SSM, and you just want an easy thing that's like, hey, I'm just going to go pull it from wherever it is, and I don't have to worry about that in my settings file. Because specifically, if you're in your settings.py file in Django, you might do, you know, that you actually yeah, you might do this, and then you might have what was the other one I was thinking of? Let's do API key, or let's do crypto. And there was a coin market cap API key equal, there we go. And and then you might have ether scan API key, and you might have dev versions of these on your local environment in your .env file, .n file, or however you want to run it. You might even have it in a config file, so that it's somewhere else in the system, so you don't have to worry about committing it to Git. So there's just multiple reasons why you might want this system in place, so that way you kind of shift your configurations around and this one thing gets it. It's actually very reminiscent of AWS config, where you can either do environment variables, or you can do a config file, or you can do IAM roles. Somewhere in the core of the Boto 3 library, for example, and the JavaScript library and all that for AWS, it handles how to get everything. And if it can't get the credentials, then A, it throws up at you, or B, it's like, hey, you need to provide these manually. So I wanted a system in place that I could do that very similarly in Python. I started down that path. I got it written for env files, for environment variables, and AWS SSM, and and then I got laid off from that job, and I didn't need to kind of worry about it anymore. I mostly do stuff with environment variables, personal stuff, so actually didn't use the thing anymore. However, I'm getting into a couple of things, and I want the option for config files and environment variables. But also, there might be an opportunity to use it with SSM. So I want to start this library, pull from the environment variables, and then pull from a config file, and then at some point add, SSM. But I want to recreate this in idiomatic Rust. So with that in mind, I mean, it's kind of funny. Sorry to just go on a tangent here, but really to implement this, you could do import OS, and then and do return. Yeah, that right there. Boom, we just implemented. Oh, you're gonna be that pedantic on me. I understand. There. All right, yeah. So we just implemented the env system for this provider system. So then we just go down here and do the same thing. In this case, I would want definite self, and then in actuality, yeah, this is gonna have a path. That's true. I wasn't thinking about that at the moment. But we also want a delimiter, and I'm going to default that to a dot because that's what I prefer. And I'll get into what that is a little later. And then you self, yep, basically that right there. And then we would just go about like, oh, now we need to self dot open config, and then it's going to set what it needs, and then or actually load config. Nope, yeah, self.config equals self.load. There we go. And this would use the library in Python to load up the configuration, cache it all to the config thing, and then we would do self.config. I think it would be, well, no, then we would need to do, what is it? Section equals, yep, there we go. And then key equals that. And then we would do return self.config section key. There we go. Boom. Now we have it. And so we would actually call this and then we could do env default dot database URL. So there we go. The reason like this is important is the reason I like this idea is I can do Django dot database URL and now what I can do is in AWS SSM I can put that whole string in there and it'll work. It'll work to get it out of there. For environment variables, we do a little string manipulation, usually to strip off kind of the first thing. Anyway, depends on how you want to configure it. Like there's a bunch of different ways, and you have to make some opinions on how you want it to work. But in a sense, that's how you would do it in Python. So yeah, now that we've spent 15 minutes kind of walking through what I have and want in the Python realm, let's figure out how to do it in Rust. Yeah. Hold on, I want to check something real fast. Sorry. All right. So let's kill that and vim source main. All right, here we go. All right. So the first thing that we know is we want a provider. Well, let's see. We're going to want a trait, and we want that trait to be provider. Retrieve. Okay. We actually want this to be stir. Cool. All right. Now we want a struct. Let's try that. Struct. And we want that struct to be env environment provider value string. Not okay. Implement provider for environment provider. So I think we do, what is it? Use standard in. Okay. Now we're gonna do env dot get so really with the provider we do need to pass in a secret name, and that needs to be a string. Okay. So we'll do env dot get let's just do that for the moment. Module env So let's see. This module contains functions to inspect various aspects of several structs. Okay. You know what? Let's take a gander over here. Rust and standard. Okay, yeah, standard M. Functions var os set var move. Oh, fire environment variable. Rust variable. There we go. Okay. Var. Okay, I see. I got my head into Python brain, and it had to be what I was used to with Python. Okay, so we're gonna return. Okay, this is the wrong return type. So we want env var secret name, and the return. Oh, okay. So the return type of that is result string var error. Okay. Result. Okay, so this is definitely where typing is gonna come in because I want this is a learning experience. This is exactly what I'm after. Let's do that for the moment. I don't necessarily know that we want that per se. So struct config provider. And then we want to implement uh yeah, let's just leave it for that for the moment. Okay. But we don't want a var error. What if I do this? Add dyn keyword before this trait. Expected trait found enum var error. Okay. Just go here for now. So part of the config provider, so we want config file. I think we want this to be a path. Path buff. An owned mutable path. Let's just do string for now. Config. We have config file delimiter string. Okay, that's fine. Uh, all right. Or what I'm trying to think. Sorry, I went quiet there because I'm thinking. Trying to work this out in my brain. I was mixing between trying to work out and understand what's happening, code wise, and what I want to do as part of the application. So I wasn't being very helpful. So part of the problem. Okay, I'm running into a couple issues. One is not everything is going to be a environment variable. So we can't have this be a var error. I also feel like this is a little off. I just so we have a trait provider. Um, do. Trying hard to not pull the trigger and throw it to Chat GPT right away. Uh, I mean, I know for config provider we need to use the crate ini. Yeah. And then so okay, so then we do extern crate ini macro use. Okay. So just in here, let's do, yep, that's what I wanted. And then here I wanted to do what, let, not delimiter, let section equals section name equals and then let key name should be good, and then match config.get section name. Yeah. It's gonna return a result, I'll bet. I'll bet this is right. So config. But what it, so make your code sure it's gonna result as a hash map. Map section, okay. Fine. The hash map I think would have a .get, yeah. So that, yeah, is gonna return an option. Makes sense. I like it. I like it. Yeah, trying to work through it here. All right. So get the section name. If there is a section name, cool. Not far. Okay. Let's look that. Yeah. See, I don't like that we're using, but we'll go with it. We'll run with it for the moment. So out of the section, we're gonna get the key name. If there's something, yeah, we're gonna return the string for it. Otherwise, we're gonna throw an error. But it's trait bound. Okay. Uh, due to unsatisfied trait bounds. But his trait bounds were not satisfied. Hmm. Okay. Um, I mean, it's returning an option. I want to do use ini. Let's see, this crate. But I don't want to use a macro. Kind of want to do it a hard way if possible. All right, yeah, I don't know. Not okay. Maybe I can't do it the hard way because it looks like this really wants me to use the macro. All right, let's not do that. All right, because I don't understand this error. Really, that's what it is. Uh, we're gonna chat Jippity it. I have the following Rust code. I get but I get this error on the to string. To string residence being called on an option, which doesn't have. Wait, it's getting called on an option. To adjust your code to handle the option correctly before attempting to convert the string reference. Clones the string if it exists. I guess if this is an option, then wouldn't that work? Gonna move out of the value which is behind the shared reference. I think this is supposed to... It's a good error because I have no... Oh my gosh. I have no idea what's going on. I don't understand. Fine. There. Whatever. Just call it a day. I'm a little annoyed. All right. So we have our thing. Let's try to use this. We want to do can let provider equals config provider. We're not doing config down anywhere, right? We're doing my config. Delimiter is dot. Okay. Show provider dot retrieve. Let's do default dot foo equals there we go. Look at that. So now let's come back over here. Change this to fun. It works. Cool. All right. Okay. So with that, something I did want to set up is the section name. No, let's not worry about that. To be honest, it's kind of cool. Not gonna lie. All right, let provider equals environment provider. Provider dot retrieve. Okay. let m data equals line m data, and then let's do uh, there we go. Got the environment variable. Okay, awesome. So now we have it set so that anything can implement a provider trait. Um, let's do struct secret manager provider box 9 providers equals a vec. I need to understand box. Pointer type that uniquely owns a heap allocation type of T. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we gotta do it because I mean that kind of makes sense to me, but not really. What is a box type in Rust? Maybe now that I've done more Rust, I'll have a little better understanding of how to like process what is a box type. See, in Rust, the box T type is a smart pointer which allocates data on the heap. It provides a way to store data of a known size at compile time, but whose size at runtime could be dynamic, allowing for more complex recursive data structures like linked lists or trees. Here are some key aspects of a box. A box owns the data it points to and ensures proper cleanup when the box goes out of scope. This means that when a box is dropped, it will deallocate the space on the heap. That is data. Okay. The primary use of box is to manage heap allocated data. It is useful when you have a large data structure that you don't want to copy around, or when you need to ensure use in recursive types. Box is a zero cost abstraction, meaning there is no runtime overhead for using it. The operations are as fast as if you were managing memory manually, but with the added benefit of safety guarantees. Located on the heap, and B owns it. When B goes out of scope, the memory for the. It isn't. I don't. What? Can you explain it in the context of. Certainly in the context of secret runner struct, the use of box dyne provider indicates that it leverages dynamic dispatch and heap allocation to handle different types of providers that implement the provider trait. Let's break this down. Traits and trait objects. Provider is presumably a trait that defines a common interface for different types of secret providers. A trait is in Rust describes an yeah, I understand that. It's an interface. You want to store multiple objects that implements the provider trait, but possibly each with a different concrete type. Yes. The dyne keyword is used to indicate dynamic dispatch. This is a runtime feature where Rust decides which method to call based on the actual type of the object at runtime, as opposed to compile time. The keyword Dyn signifies that provider is a trait object, an object that points to both an instance of a type implementing our provider trait and a table used to look up trait methods on that type at runtime, known as vtable. I mean, that's kind of a wishy-washy, like that's kind of like spinning around in my head, somewhat making sense. Let's keep going. The box pointer is used here primarily for two reasons. Heap allocation, since trait objects like Dyn provider do not have compile time size determined. Different types implemented can have different sizes, obviously. Okay. They need to be stored in a heap allocated pointer like box. This allows secret manager to hold types of any size that implement the provider trait. Yeah. Ownership. Box also provides ownership of the heap allocated provider. This is crucial because Rust needs to know how to clean it up. Box ensures that memory for this provider is deallocated properly. That is awesome. That is awesome. Large language models are creepy sometimes. Oh my gosh. We just went through hell. Not really. But I just went through a lot of mental like trying to figure it out, and based on that little bit, like it generated exactly generated the code. It did what I was trying to do. Oh my god. Sorry. That's just too funny. Okay. Didn't fully do it, but it got the idea of what I was trying to do. For provider manager providers get secrets. Uh, that kind of makes sense. Makes more sense than it did 20 minutes ago. Created and stored in a secret manager. Each provider can be of a different concrete type. It is treated uniformly through the provider trait interface. The use of box Dyn provider allows for the different types to demonstrating polymorphism through dynamic dispatch. That right there is a key thing. Demonstrating polymorphism through dynamic dispatch. Yes. I think that freaking sentence right there locked in more information in my head on what was going on than the rest of the description. So this is a total. I'm gonna jump back over here. So I'm gonna be honest, this is kind of a total mind change for me. So in Python, I've been doing Python, I figured out earlier today, for 14 years. And for the most part, like, I don't have to deal with types. I don't have to deal with uh, memory allocations. I don't have to deal with the heap versus the stack. I don't got to deal with any of that. And so coming to Rust, I now have to think on pointers. Like I have to kind of start thinking in those terms. And so the idea that I actually totally forgot where I was going with it. Yeah, so the idea on the box and the dine, looking up in a V table to figure out comparison of which one is running, needing to understand that really kind of changes how you look at doing some of the Rust stuff. And it's super, this is kind of tough for me, because you lose it. You lose that understanding over a long period of time. And I'm getting there. It's coming back. What little was there. Uh, yeah. So I just wanted to mention, like, this is hard for me, and but I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna get there. So, all right. So it makes sense. I get it. Let's move on. So I also, can we do implement secret? New, yeah, and you're gonna pass it in the vec of, yeah, makes sense. I mean, that's a good API. Uh, retrieve the secret name. Yep, for provider in providers. Matt, yeah. I mean, this should work. Like, this should do what I want it to do. So let's come down here and do. Let's just see. Okay, let end provider can. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, crap. I'm gonna do my. Is it my config? Yeah, my config. And I want the delimiter to be this. Secret manager. There's a vec box new end provider config provider. Yep. Okay. And then secret name. I actually want to do default dot boo. We're going to play with the things here. Default dot boo is not going to be an environment variable. Let's see. Interesting. Okay. Thread main panicked. Environment variable. Okay. It panicked. I'll bet it panicked because it couldn't find it. So let's see. This equals 1. Cargo run. Do 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 do. Config provider. Retrieve. Shmap core expect failed. Shmap. Yeah, I think it's screwing up here because it's all caps. There it is. Okay, but that's actually a good thing for it gives you a runtime error that we need to worry about catching. So let's do one. Yep. So if I did fun dot foo equals hello cargo run. Something that I want to do is for this I want to do secret name dot case. There we go. But I also want to go down here. Secret name dot split. Okay, I gotta handle the case where what happens if the delimiter isn't there that you split on? To use separator. When empty string is used as a separator, it separates every character in the string along with the beginning and the. Oh. Okay. Iterator over substrings if the string slice separated by characters matches a pattern. Pattern can be a stir, a slice, The returned iterator will be a double-ended iterator if the pattern allows a reverse search, forward search, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but what happens if it does not work? So if I just do fun, All right. Split. Yeah. Remainder. Struct standard. Struct split. I'm willing to bet. Let's put this down here. Let secret path equals secret name dot split by the self dot delimiter delimiter dot collect. I am not looking at what the autocomplete is doing. Then I want to do it. I want to do a vec of would it be stirs? And what is collect return? Returns that. All right. I have no idea if that's right. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's that. No. Okay, let's let Jippity. Because really, like the split turns it into an iterator, and we want to like yank it all into a vec. I was close. I was close. I just missed the syntax. Fun right there. Vec right there. Boom. 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 If secret path dot length is equal to 1, then I want to do let mute section name. Let's do this. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, sorry. Let me section equals default. I'm going to do two lowercase in this case. So I'm going to lower it so it doesn't matter. If this is greater than 1, then we want to do section name equals that. Then we want to do key name should be that. Then, so this what? Creates a temporary value which is freed while still in use. Okay. Let lower name equals two lowercase. Now let's do let lower name split. Now let's do it. Key delimiter secret path. Section name is default. Secret path is first. Key name is the last. Secret name is fun. No entry found for key. Where did I wrote that? No entry found. Where did I write that? Maybe I didn't write that. Oh wait. What? Okay. We're still up here. Print key is fun, section default. Thread main panicked. Config file is my config. Delimiter is dot. Hey, Brait, I hope I'm saying that right. Welcome to the stream. Just happy to see you leave a comment there. All right, let's see. Cargo run. Path is fun. It could be that my assumption is wrong. No. Because, yeah, see, fun is the key. There in a vac, so it's there, so Why can I not find it? Okay, saying it can't find the... Thanks, will do. Okay. Section... So I have the section for default. Here, I'm going to break this up because it's running together here. So this is where we set the default. We get it. Now we're setting the key. Now we're going to open the config file. This is where we're setting our path. So here we open it just because I have no clue what's going on. Let's just do that, see what happens. Default foo some bar, yeah. One foo is Baz. Oh! Yes. I am dumb. There it is. Secret is bar because it pulls from default. So now, if we do foo equals blub. There we go. We pulled by default from the environment variable. And there we fell back. We had a fallback man to our config file where we pulled from. Okay. So gonna kill these. So interesting. Okay. What I need to do is I need to figure out I need to look up hash maps. Because I want to return an error if the key isn't there. That way I can catch it properly. I don't want it to just panic. Because if I have other providers and it panics, it's not even going to matter. Yank. So let's go to here. I have a hash map that is config. When it gets the value from the how can I match the catch the error? I have no idea how to say that properly. View from key name. When using a hash map in Rust, accessing a value, blah, 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 blah. Get. It's safer to use the get method, which returns an option. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you very much. Okay, I don't care about that. Say config.get section name sum. Okay. So So we're gonna do the config.get by section name. Okay. Let's do that. Yeah, that's right. Match config.get section name. Okay. Now we have the section name. So I think it's match sum. Yeah, wait. Yeah, okay. So we're doing the match for what we pull in. Still trying to get used to this whole match syntax. But it's a sum and it is the section. So it is the section's content stuff that we get out. So let's do that. And then there's also none. Yeah. So that. Yes. Okay. I don't need that. Okay. Might have to buy spell stuff, right? Man, I'm fat fingering for the last 5 minutes. All right. Cool. All right, now we want to match section.get with our key name from above. And I am trying my darndest not to pay much attention to Copilot. All right. So when we match that, we want to do. We're going to get the value back, and it's going to be some. Do value is what we're after. And then we want to, if it's what we think it should be, we're going to return. And since we're doing a result up here as a string, I think it's going to be a stir. So we're going to do okay value dot to string. Okay. And then otherwise we want none because it's an option. And we're just going to complete that. I figured that's what it was going to be. Okay. Awesome. Oh. Okay, maybe if I do that. Okay, cool. I was like, I have no idea what that means. All arms diverge. But that makes sense. That makes sense because everything in here returns. Okay, the method toString exists. Oh, it's back to this thing. I think this was the doc. See, this is where something I gotta learn. But for now, I think it's if I do dot clone dot toString, I think it was. No. Okay. Return the okay. Is it expect dot clone? Sup. Forgot about that. Okay. Still shaky on like the value.clone.expect. Oh, not really. I mean, we're cloning the values, so we have our own new stuff in memory. Then we're going to try to unpack it with expect. It's still a little like that part's I need to do a total separate like learning on that. This should have had data. Okay. Okay. So now let's do that. None of those should get it. Environment variable not found. Okay, where did we get that? Oh, because I'm returning a var error everywhere and we're doing the description. Yeah. Yeah, error call. Yep. So it works. It's doing what I want it to do. So if I did default foo, because we want the default configuration from our config file, we get bar. If we do fun, we get baz. We do just foo, we get that. But if we do foo equals hello, whoops, we get hello. Yeah, so I think the goal of just getting this working where it has fallbacks and multiple providers, I think is working. I mostly understand the code. There's little bits and pieces like I need to work on in this. So, I mean, in the future, we can do struct. Actually, hold on. Yeah. Do struct AWS SSM provider. And then implement provider, blah, blah, blah. That's a future thing that we'll do. So let's just go ahead and comment that out for now. All right. So here comes the fun part. So this is really the first time I have done like trait work and trying to do structs, implement a contract with a trait so that it has some cross stuff, and then kind of compile it all together. I don't know if I did it well. So here is going to be, let's do this, yank. Here is my Rust code. How can I make it more idiomatic? So this, while it may not be perfect to give me more idiomatic Rust, it should give me some key pointers on what to figure out. So let's read what it has to say. All right, your Rust code is already quite well structured. I was gonna kick out of that because it's like I really want to make some Python at some point that is just terrible. Like this is just horrible Python. No one should ever write this Python. Give it to ChatGPT and see if it still says, "Oh, it's really nice." I kind of doubt it. Uh, just funny. In Rust, the last expression of block is automatically used for the return. Okay, it's an explicit return statement unless you're returning early from a function. I feel like in the couple of places I am doing a return, I am doing that. It's somewhere else. Unless the match at the end is a return statement. This is useful. So use if let or unwrap. Use if let or unwrap or for simpler control flows. This is useful when dealing with option and only one variant, usually some, is of interest. Also, using unwrap or and unwrap or else can streamline code where defaults are needed. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Reduce the use of unwraps for safety. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. They could pan. Yeah. I agree. Utilize iterators more efficiently, and Rust iterators offer a powerful way to handle sequence of collections. For example, using split directly on an iterator chain can make the code more concise and expressive. Remove redundant macro use extern. Okay, since Rust Edition 2018, the macro use extern crate is mostly unnecessary, especially when you can use. Those are always fun. Revised code. All right. Var error not present. Not worried about that. Provider. Yeah, that's still the same. Environment provider. That's interesting. Okay. So env pulling from the environment. Var normal. In this case, though, secret name.to uppercase, which is something that we wanted to do. If it errors, we're doing a closure and returning the val error not present. Interesting. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's look at this. I like it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like it. I see. I tried to do this, and it like yelled at me. I wonder why this. Okay. Let's see. First unwrap or okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Unwrap it or get the default. I got it. I got it. And then we have the last unwrap. Yeah, because it already got it, so we don't need the if statement. I like it. I like it. Yeah, reduces any. Okay. I like that. Load from. That's what I was trying to find earlier instead of using the dumb macro. I didn't want to use the macro. Okay. Whoa. Config section. Here we go. Okay. Config section, some section. Okay. And then. What? And then. Get the key name. And then you have okay or. If it's okay or. Man, this line, right? Like, this whole section here. Mind blown. Mind blown. All right. I mean, that's still the. Stop it. That's still the same. Retrieve. Self.providers.iter. Find map? I didn't. Interesting. I think I used a find map in a previous thing. It's just I use it so little I just forgot about it. Okay. So yeah, this is gonna create like a little internal collection and then you use a closure to let you retrieve the name and then return okay. If the find map does not get an okay back, we will do the or, in this case, the value not present. Okay. Or. All right. Environment provider. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, we're used to that. Okay. Secret manager, new vec, blah, 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 blah. Yep. Still, yeah. Okay. Okay. I think this is some improvement. I like what I see here. Man, this right here, like, still just has me blown away. Okay, I'm gonna yank some of this here. Uh, Take this, copy, and that's an environment provider. I just want to. Well, that's interesting though. Uh, because it's the same thing. I mean, I get okay. I, yes, since so this is going to solve a problem later. Since I kind of started out with just using the var and just returning the error, the result that it returns, everything else had to conform to that. I didn't necessarily want that. Instead, I should do a custom error that everything can use as the same thing. So this allows for that to happen. I'm going to go ahead and, for the moment, comment this out. But I do, okay. I like that. So let's go down to our config provider. So retrieve self secret. So does anything change up there? No. In this case, I just want to take this a little bit at a time here. Secret path. Because I want to see what I did different here. Uh, See, I did the same thing, and it was like, hey, oh, yeah. I did the same thing, and it yelled at me. It was like, hey, you can't do that. Let's see what happens now. See, the method collect, that wasn't the same method. But it still is erroring. Method cannot be called on split due to unsatisfied trait bounds. I just want you to know I copied and pasted this, and ChatGPT was wrong, and I was partially right. Uh, Temporary value is freed at the end of the statement. See? That's what I'm saying. That's the other error. So ChatGPT, you suck. There's probably a better way. Yeah, see? Right there. That's what I did. That is what I did. Thank you. Okay. Now to like, can I do a, yeah, here we go. Yep. Yep. There we go. There we go. Boom. We're back. Now, let's do this here. I like this. I want to, I mean, okay. Section name, unwrap order, add default. Okay. Required by a bound introduced by this. What? No, that's not gonna work right. Uh, no, that's cool, but that's not gonna work. The reason that won't work is because there will be a first on there. We want to check if there's more than one. So we were right again. Interesting code. I understand the unwrap or now. I like that. I do also like this, but now I'm getting skeptical. Okay, let's do. Failed to resolve. Could not find any in. Cargo run. Use any. Any. Yeah, I don't. It's like I'm just so getting so disappointed. You know? Thought I found this really cool stuff, and I'm too ignorant of Rust to know if it's gonna work or not. See, config.c, like there, I mean, because it returns a hash map, and the other thing does not. Just so disappointed. More stuff to learn. More stuff to learn, though. Oh, that could have been from that. Let's do. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah. I'm gonna comment this out because I just need to learn. I need to go look at the code. I'm hoping that will work because I like it, and I'll just have to go look it up at some point. All the rest is basically it. And my camera went down, so uh, I'm gonna point at you. I'll come back to this. It's getting late, and I kind of need to stop. So this was fun though. I enjoyed it. I learned a ton of stuff, which was the exact goal. And yeah, so we'll continue this another time. Maybe next Wednesday, maybe not. But I really enjoyed it. We really, I mean, kind of accomplished the initial goal where we can create new provide. We can instantiate new providers, be it a environment provider for environment variables or config using config files. And we can call from a central location to get a specific secret, and it just falls through whatever we need to get those particular secrets from that thing. So I enjoyed it. I think this was a good learning thing, getting to mess with it, and apparently I already write well structured code. uh, yeah, so good learning, and I will see you next.